What's happening inside the European Union right now? Why has the discussion about the 19th sanctions package suddenly become one of the most debated topics in Brussels? And why is Hungary once again drawing the attention of leaders across Europe? Today, many observers are asking, why are the talks moving slowly? Which specific points are being debated? Why do some countries believe the process is dragging on? And what does this situation mean for future European policy? Although officials avoid strong statements, the atmosphere around the negotiations is clearly tense. Several EU members have expressed concern about the pace of decision-making, while Hungary insists that some parts of the proposal need adjustment. In other words, we are witnessing a familiar pattern. Europe is trying to move forward collectively, but one country believes the document needs to be reworked. And it is precisely this point that raises the greatest questions. Will a compromise be found? How long will the negotiations last? And could this situation impact EU unity in the long term? Today, we'll explore the background to the discussions on the new package, the positions of the participating countries, and why Hungary has once again found itself at the center of European politics. The European Union continues internal consultations over the 19th sanctions package, aimed at expanding previous measures and strengthening regulatory supervision over financial and trade flows. According to officials familiar with the talks, several countries support the proposal and want to finalize it as soon as possible. However, the discussion has slowed down as Hungary requested adjustments to several specific elements. Hungary argues that some of the provisions may have unintended effects on its economy or energy-related planning. Hungarian officials publicly stated that they support the idea of a coordinated European response, but emphasized that each new step should be balanced and realistic. Several EU countries, on the other hand, believe the package has already been carefully reviewed and should move forward without further delay. Diplomats say that they respect Budapest's right to raise concerns, but they point out that the time frame for adoption is becoming increasingly sensitive. European analysts note that the 19th package includes technical measures related to trade supervision, regulatory alignment, and financial transparency. While the document is not considered a dramatic escalation, it requires unanimous approval, meaning that any one country can request revisions. In this context, Hungary's position is not unprecedented. Over the past years, Budapest has repeatedly called for detailed assessments before approving major initiatives. Officials argue that decisions must not contradict national strategies in areas such as energy security or economic planning. Some European media outlets highlight that this dynamic reflects deeper debates inside the Union. How should the EU balance collective decisions with national priorities? Should each sanctions package be treated as a long negotiation? Meanwhile, several EU diplomats say they remain optimistic. According to them, such discussions are typical for complex packages involving dozens of regulatory points. The prevailing expectation is that the countries will eventually find a compromise that suits all sides. Analysts also point out that the process itself demonstrates how the EU's decision-making works. Slow, detailed, often complicated, but based on dialogue and the search for consensus. Experts believe the most likely outcome is a modified version of the 19th package that incorporates some of Hungary's requests while preserving the core elements supported by other members. However, the timing remains uncertain. If the talks continue longer than expected, observers predict two possible consequences. Short-term delays in implementation, which could impact the EU's overall planning. Increased interest from other countries in the ability to amend documents, which will complicate the agreement on future measures. Nevertheless, most analysts are confident that a compromise will be reached, as has been the case before, since no country is interested in protracted disagreements.